Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. We think we're live, Lawrence. We were just saying that. I've got my glasses on. I've got my glasses on for this. Now, Lawrence is off the kickoff. He does many things with True Geordie as well. How are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, actually. I've actually just been shopping. So it was a bit of a weird experience. I can tell you about that later if you want. But it was, everyone has to line up outside the supermarket. And so it's a weird one because the security guard is having to tell everyone. Some people are flustered, some people are angry, some people are old. I don't know if that's a chronic condition, but it was just a bit of a weird experience because no one talks to each other either. So it's a strange day.
That's funny, that is, because actually when I was out walking today, there was a lot of people talking to each other, saying hello from distance. I think over the last week, it's amazing how people have adopted this 2 meters thing. But I am wearing my glasses because Lawrence is considered to be, I think, one of the depth, intelligent football fans.
Good.
Sort of. I'd say it to True Geordie as well if he was here. You're my favourite of the two. So,
Thank you.
know.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. I thought you were going to say I was one of the short-sighted fans, but that's fair enough.
No, that's me, I'm afraid. But look, let's get into it because the first thing I want to talk about, and there's loads we want to talk about, and do you get your comments in because we're trying something a little bit new today, and I'm just going to click Paul Robinson, and as you can see, he comes up on the screen. Old school background.
Thanks for noticing, Paul. This is old school. It's one of my oldest walls.
Yeah, and you see, look at Paul. That's what he looks like. So we will be doing that with the super chats and everything as well. But let's get into this. Liverpool title. Today and yesterday just seems to have gone up a level with, void the season. Life comes first, void the season and forget about football. And I'm like, well, take the floor, Lawrence. As a Liverpool fan, Lawrence, take the floor.
I mean, I guess that's an interesting one because if you void, I don't really know what void would achieve. And it doesn't, people seem to think that the only way that you achieve anything is by getting to the very end of it. And it's sort of been like, right, well, he's won the Oscar now, so the movie's good. It's like, well, the movie was good before the Oscar was given, surely. And in order to win the Oscar, you have to have a good film. So in many ways, when people are talking about, I don't know, Liverpool winning or losing the title, obviously I care if Liverpool get another trophy. But I also care that this is just a team that made Liverpool proud. Like, it made Liverpool feel good about itself. It reminded Liverpool of a lot of things that are good about the club. And maybe some of the things that are bad as well, like people talking about arrogance of big fans, those kind of things. It was an interesting one because, and I'd love to know what United fans actually think about this. I said, Brian and I had a debate, and obviously, I keep my powder dry a lot for the kickoff on that channel. But we had a debate, and a lot of people just went, "Oh, you're just being on the side of Liverpool." And I got to be honest, when we're having a debate, I thought, surely this is the only logical way to deal with it, is to see what happens rather than to just rush in and go, void the season, because that would be a good video title. Let's void it because that'll be a good clickbait.
That's my next video. You've ruined it now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's my bad. I just don't understand. I just don't understand the knee-jerkism of it. And, we spoke about Karen Brady on the kickoff. We spoke about other people who are quite reactive. And those things in the moment, I guess, feel great. You can, you're winding someone else up. You feel amazing. It's like, yeah, I got that reaction from the fans, or I got that headline or whatever. But history never shines on those kind of people. It never reflects well on the, same as Boris was going around a few days ago saying, I'm not making this political, saying I'm shaking everyone's hand. People are now using that to throw in his face. And I've got to be honest, as critical as I am, I feel sorry for him. If I was ill, you wouldn't wish coronavirus on the worst of your enemies. No. So why people are now using this as a political piece, or even just to get at Liverpool fans, I don't get. Liverpool fans and United fans should be standing together at this point. United are going through a similar thing to what Liverpool went through 20 years ago. And when we had terrible American owners, actually quite a few United fans were quite sympathetic to me. So I feel similar for you guys. And sometimes I think it's less about, well, do we do it for Liverpool? It's more for just, how will football continue after this? How will our industry continue? Do you still want to see Mark doing well? Do you still want to still see True Geordie? Don't answer that. Do you still want to see people doing well? That's the up and down of it here. It's not about football.
Brian's definitely doing well better than me, Lawrence.
Well, I mean, he was. We also watched the full of True Geordie, but I've seen your 8 cars, Mark, and I know.
I've seen his flat.
Good point. Yeah, very good point. Yeah, and of course the masseuse that he has living with him. She's lovely.
She.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry, we don't know.
I love that.
I hope that's a salient point. Is that it's not really about whether Liverpool win or lose the title, but I get that to a lot of people, it's a really good point to have a go at your mates. That's about the up and down of it for me. It's just not reactionary.
I think when it first started, it was like, oh yeah, I don't want Liverpool to win the league. And I know United fans in our comments who would say that. And the equaliser I've just put there says Liverpool would lose 7 of the next games in a row. We don't know. And I agree with that. Yeah. I don't think you should be handed the title at this point.
Oh, absolutely
we have to come back.
Oh yeah, if I could have that opinion, I think a lot of people misinterpret what Liverpool fans are saying. I want to see the season played out. I want to see it finished. And I'm actually happy for an asterisk to be next to that title, because I think Liverpool fans have waited so long. You don't want to think that the first one you got in 30 years will be a gimme, because then it takes away from it, surely. So I don't want a charity title. I don't want someone to go, just give it to them. But the point I was making was, no one is saying, is this Man City's or Liverpool's title? Everyone's actually just saying, this is Liverpool's title. Will we give it to them or not? And that's why I guess the debate's a little bit clearer for me. It's not like there were 3 teams in the running consistently. There's Charles Darwin. You're using historical figures to back me up. Smart.
Yeah, dead ones. Yeah,
yeah.
You'd like that one. We've got Mark. Before saying Lawrence is one of the most intelligent people on YouTube around football, he said, "I don't think Rooney is the impressive force everyone puts him down to be." Well, it depends what year.
Do you want to have this debate, Mark? Do you want to have this debate? Well, I'm more than happy to.
Well, let's just skim through it then. I mean, he's not the impressive force everyone puts him down to be. But in what year did you say that? Because if it was last week against Derby, then I agree.
So I'll put my stall out there, because when I was young, I had a bit of a run-in with Wayne Rooney, and it wasn't a pleasant run-in with Wayne Rooney. I'll put it that way. All right. Now,
it's one of those meet heroes. They're not the people you think they are.
Or just don't meet people who are the best striker on your opposition team. I guess there was a FIFA event, right? And I mean FIFA as in FIFA the game, right? And everyone went along. I got invited along. You play a couple of the games. Weirdly, Tim Cahill's there, Jolien Lescott's there, a couple of other guys. It's the house of, I think it's the house of Wayne we went to, and it was a rented house. It wasn't Wayne's actual house. We get into the house, and it's like, oh, there's beers, and it's, oh, you're right, lads, yeah, having a good time. Look, a couple of you get down there, you can go play Wayne Rooney on FIFA. And everyone's coming back up and going, weirdly, I lost the game, but I was 3-0 up. But weirdly, like, FIFA just started glitching out, and everyone was like, okay. And somehow, Jolien Lescott and Wayne Rooney, obviously Jolien Lescott being a Man City player and Wayne Rooney being a Man United player, both got to the final of this little tournament that was being filmed. And I went there representing IGN as a very, very young blogger / reporter. And I remember, what's his, Paul, who's his agent? Paul Stretford, right. Yeah. A charming man, I think, by everyone's standards. A man who's told women to F off and, threatened to punch, done all sorts of weird things. He's quite litigious, so I don't want to go too into it. But I was guaranteed an interview with Wayne Rooney because I'm with IGN. And, IGN are a pretty big platform at that point, but they're just developing their videos. So they sent a young reporter along. Bam, that's me. We watched Wayne Rooney play Jolien Lescott, and he goes 1-0 down to Lescott. Lescott is loving it because, the noisy neighbours, etc., is like the thing at that point, rubbing it in his face and sort of, oh, where's your win now, Wayne? And Stretford leans over the back and he just, little massage on Wayne's shoulder. He goes, it's all right, Wayne, you're still the best. And I thought, that's a bit weird. It's a bit strange, isn't it, to say that to someone when they're just playing FIFA? But fair enough. And
Brian's relationship, what I see off the camera.
Yeah, but Brian is very much my Paul Stretford. And so I thought, okay, let's see how it goes. And he ultimately loses the game, and he's a bit angry, as far as I can tell. But he's young, he's miffed, he's competitive. He didn't want to lose. He's a Manchester United player. I respect that. He's a competitor. The interview that I had to do with him immediately after was probably one of the most painful experiences I've ever had. And as a player, I get that he's probably young. He's not the most expressive guy, but I was asking him very easy bat-away questions, very easy questions, trying to get something out of him because I'm young. I'm probably, I don't know if I'm older or younger than Wayne Rooney. How old's Wayne? 30?
35?
Right, okay. So he's a couple of years older than me at this point, actually. A good few years older than me. So he And then from the back of the room, Paul Stretford, every time asking a question, is going, next, that's not on the list. Ask another one. And I'm going, oh, Wayne, what's it like? When you go away with the England squad, who's the best? Who's the worst player on FIFA? Paul Stretford goes, don't answer that. And in the end, I got nothing out of the interview. And it was terrible, a really bad experience. And Stretford walks out the room and he goes, next time, literally like that far away from my face. And he goes, next time, you do your effing job. And I was like, I'm just a young, I was devastated. I thought, I'm never going to work again. You know what it's like when you're young and you're just trying to get into it. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to work again here. Like, I've just upset basically one of the Premier League's best. And Wayne Rooney just walks past, doesn't acknowledge me, just walks out. And I was a bit like, okay, bit of a, can I swear?
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
So, bit of a wanker move, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it sort of made me think, I don't really like you anymore. And not that I liked him a lot anyway as an Everton player. And then down the years, I guess it sort of tainted the way that I felt about him, because I thought, I don't feel this passion for Wayne. Having been close to him, I don't see, everyone goes, he's so charismatic, he's got this gravitas. I never saw him as a Beckham type figure, I guess. And maybe I'm taking it against him, maybe I'm not being kind to him, but I never felt that fear of him as a Liverpool fan that I felt of Beckham or Cantona or even of, someone who's a bit more, I guess, mercurial from the United players. I feared Rio Ferdinand. I never really weirdly feared Wayne Rooney. And I guess there's just an argument for me that there was an incredible amount of potential. He did live up to a lot of it, but he's not Jordan. He's not LeBron James. He's not a Pele. Do you know what I mean? And we bill him as if he is that level. And maybe to me that, that's where I feel he is. And I know United fans have got a lot of affection for him, and England fans do, but I don't really fall into either of those categories sometimes.
I've seen this myself with we've done a couple of things over the last couple of years, the bigger we've got in relation to player events. And I was at one last year and I said, Flex, who does the fan cams, I said, I don't want to do these anymore. I don't like being told what I can say, what I can't say. I don't like being told to wait in the corner. I said, look, our job is to critique these people. That's what fan channels are all about. I'm not here to wait in line, be told what I can and can't say. I'm not here for that. And plenty of people want to wait in line and have their photo for 20 quid in a big long queue, and that's great. That's what fans want to do, but that's not what I want to do, because I could just do that. Instead, I decided to set something up like this. And I've met a lot of these players, and to be honest with you, I don't care if they're adulterers, fraudsters, whatever. What I do care is about what they do in the Man United shirt.
How many punchlines there, by the way? I didn't go for any of them, so
yeah.
Yeah,
you can if you like. So I was watching Rooney 8-2 last night. We did it on the channel because they replayed the game, and he was a fantastic player. But it never surprises me if there may be issues off the pitch. Maybe you knew you were a Liverpool fan, to be fair.
I don't know if he did actually, but it was just a strange experience, and for me, it always tainted the experience of Wayne Rooney, because for me, he's not a David Beckham, and I can acknowledge Beckham as a Manchester United great, as an England great, as all these things. I've just never felt that way about Rooney, and maybe on the kickoff sometimes things can get a little bit twisted or things get a little bit off, but it's a weird one. But also, I respect what you're doing in the sense that you don't want to be mates with the players. You don't want to have that, it doesn't, because really what you realize is these players, they're not really seeing you as a friend. They're seeing you as a bit of a mouthpiece or someone who can help you, help them to, look better with the fans, or look, I'm mates with them. Like, who cares? You're not really, if that's the case, you're really just under the thumb.
I think, I know Brian and you specifically, because we've had these chats are the same, because we've had chats, I think on camera and off camera, and it's like, people like talk sport and that, screw them, because ultimately we're bigger and we're better. And that's not really the argument, but it's more about, you don't need them. There's a time where they'll need you. And we've seen that over the last few months where they have started to attack things, and they're attacking it because they're vulnerable. But I think with players, especially in the arena we work in, you either are a fan channel or you're not a fan channel. And if you are a fan channel and you're gonna say, I think Fellaini is absolutely dog shit. Oh, hi Fellaini, do you want to come on? Yeah, sit down. Yeah, we've got Fellaini on the show. It's just, and I've seen people do that, and I just think that's so shallow, and we get accused of being shallow.
Do you see the duality of it as well, though, where it's like, you can dislike a player, but then be kind to them on a human level, and you can be nice to them. Yeah, and you know, essentially that is someone who's coming in to represent your team. And if you feel like they've tried their hardest, but you don't think they're very good, then maybe actually it's just a weird experience for anyone, because you should be able to say, I don't think you're the player that I want you to be. I don't necessarily want you at my club. And that person not take it personally and go, well, oh, well, then I hate you. It's like, well, to be honest, let's just both acknowledge that you're not of the standard that Manchester United need. And that's fine, Jesse Lingard. That's absolutely fine. You can be a nice guy and we can get on, but I don't have to then go, well, I'd love it if you played for the club. It's because there's too many kiss asses out there who want to be mates with the players. And I don't think they understand the experience. And also, let's put it this way, if you're the new media, you're the new journalist, you're the new guy who's trying to help make opinions, the fourth estate and journalism is meant to be about challenging people, is meant to be about having a conversation. It's not just meant to be about going, who's your top 5 strikers of all times, lads? And then move on.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And that's what you're talking about there. And that's what I've experienced as well. I've been to an event with a big list of good questions. And I've had, Gareth Bale might be a signing for United in the summer. What do you think about that? I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
You just people like go, you feel like grabbing the piece of paper and go, oh, what's your favourite colour? What was your favourite Manchester United shirt that you wore over your career? Who told the funniest stories on the coach? Just crap, irrelevant Shoot magazine, toss pot crap. And I used to buy Shoot magazine.
Shoot magazine's very good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it is that
Match is better though. Match is better.
I think I used to get boast. 90 minutes was a bit highbrow.
So, someone got a lot of pocket money. Let's just put it that way there, guys, because 2 magazines in a week was
442 was the creme de la creme.
Yeah,
and I've been in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you will be in it again, obviously, when you edit it in years to come.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, let's go back to the Eamon Barrett says voting to void the league to stop Liverpool in winning is petty. We are bigger than that. And this, I didn't come back on it. So I don't want Liverpool to win the league, but I know Liverpool are going to win the league. And I think that from a point of view, what we'll go back to what we were talking about before. I just think that why are people getting so sensationalist about stopping the league now? Because there's a lot of death. We knew this was coming. We know that it's around 1%, and we know that we've got to isolate to try and keep it down and save lives. Why are people going, people are dying, stop the football? Well, we're going to play football at some point, and we might not have a vaccine for 18 months. So why does that mean we have to stop the football? Start it again in September, though. Oh, how about if we're starting it again in September? We finish the bloody season we've got now, and that's my point. And I know it means Liverpool winning the league, but what, as a United fan, and as a human being, there's 2 things. As a United fan, we won't be in the Champions League next year if we void the season.
Yep.
And I think we will be if we come back. And that's more important to me now. And as a human being, I think when you start something, you should finish it. And I think it sets a bad precedent that the only time we've not done a league season was in World War II, and that these things could happen again. And every season you might be running away with it in March thinking, is there going to be a pandemic in April that voids the season? So I just think it's important that we do it on many levels.
I also just think it's acknowledging the hard work that a lot of players have put in. And I think what we forget is the Premier League is the best 400, 500 players in of English football, right? As far as we know. There's probably some better guys in the lower leagues, but what I mean by that is they're the best teams in the country, right? And these guys have been assembled. They're at the very top of their game. And even if you're 20th in the Premier League, you're still in the top 1% of footballers in the country, right? You're still a fantastic football player. You're just being beaten by elite tactics, elite levels of planning and probably infrastructure that maybe your club doesn't have, et cetera, et cetera. So think of the hard work that's gone in. And I know the weird thing is we're thinking about the players, or we're thinking about, the manager or those kind of people. Manchester United is a club made up of thousands of people being employed. And the club will be able to invest more money and more jobs if the Premier League is stronger and if they're in the Champions League. So I know that we're thinking of it as a petty trophy thing, but actually these clubs were set up as pieces of the community, and they feed back into the community. And we talk continually about Man City helping the community around them. They won't be able to do that unless they get money and unless they're making some sort of profit here. I know that we've all had our opinions on what Man City are doing for the community and whether they're doing sports washing or whatever. But the fact is, there are good things they're doing for the community, and those are byproducts of other things. But these are institutions which help local communities. So don't just think of it as, well, Liverpool can get their money for the Champions League. Think of it as, will the grandma of someone who's the tea lady still have a job? Or will they have to cut that person's job? Or will the person who's worked there for 40 years have to lose their job because the club can't afford to do it this season, or because et cetera, et cetera? That's what that's another great argument for not voiding the season, because it's about the validity of a club. And it's also, if Manchester United is, and all the other clubs, such great institutions, then surely they want an honest and I guess, I can't really think of the word right now, but correct end to the season. And to feel it voided like that, I think feels very reactionary, and a little bit like people are just being a bit quite opportunistic, like Karen Brady was.
I think the title of the video, I did do it. Yeah, Man United to stop Liverpool title. I do think, and I do think that Manchester United, as ever, and I would say Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool and Manchester United are the biggest clubs in England, and I think they've got the biggest say.
Yeah.
I think if Manchester United do, because there are clubs, let's be honest, there will be clubs there saying, yeah, avoid it. Norwich for one. Yeah, avoid it. Arsenal.
Yeah, sure.
So Arsenal will avoid it because if Man City get the ban they think, then 5th place will be Arsenal's from a year ago, which is just a disgrace, to be honest with you. Yeah. So United, I don't think want to avoid it, because I think they look at it and go, we can be in the Champions League, we want to finish the season. But if United do shift for whatever reason and say we want to avoid it, I think that becomes, I think Manchester United are probably an ally of Liverpool's, one of probably only 4 or 5 that probably want the season to be completed.
And to add to that as well, I don't quite understand why we're having this discussion when we've not read the charts, when we don't know which way the curve's going, and we don't know what else is going on. Because, as much as there is, I think there's other things about rushing this decision or rushing the league back. For instance, I know Donald Trump's talking about, everyone should be back in the churches by Easter. I don't know how many Americans are actually going to take that up. And there are a lot of American sponsors. There's a lot of Chinese sponsors, a lot of international sponsors who will be paying for boxes at Liverpool and Manchester United. And that's going to be funding a club and keeping them going. If they can't attend the match, they're probably going to go, well, why don't we avoid that payment then? We can't attend. We can't attend, and you've decided to continue the season. So I think there's a lot of things to consider here, and that's what I'm interested in talking about, the details of it, rather than it being like, should Liverpool get the title or not? I mean, either way, Liverpool feel a sense of achievement from this season. There's a couple of clubs who are going to crown themselves champions anyway. And imagine we're one of those clubs who go, we've played really well, we probably deserve it. Who cares?
But you will care, won't you? Because you won't have a Premier League title.
Of course, and people care about a trophy. But I think ultimately, this. There's great figures in history of football. There's Shankly, there's Busby, there's Clough, there's all these guys who ultimately what our clubs are built on, and the legend of our clubs are built on. And those guys are very pragmatic men. They're men who cared about the people, and they're men who would probably in this situation not even begin to think about bringing football back, because they don't want to. They're not idiots. Basically, they're not morons. And that's the up and down of it. Arsenal don't deserve it. They're an embarrassment in Europe. Arsenal actually quite entertaining this season, but I'm glad you clicked it, Mark.
I know. Sometimes I like to get to bait people.
I understand, yeah.
The interesting thing is that with this Liverpool scenario is if you don't win the title, and I think it will be harder to win the title next year, because you won't be able to replicate this. I don't think. No. Man City probably be better. United are better. Spurs will be better. Arsenal probably better. That
Liverpool won't be a great team in that year as well.
I think you still be favourites. Yeah, I think you'd be favourites, and you never know what the injustice can do. The thing about Liverpool is that I think Man City on their day are probably as good, but Liverpool have got a collective win mentality, and I think imagine every minute of every next. I mean, I could imagine the Sir Alex Ferguson team just going and winning it again, and I think Klopp replicates Sir Alex in a very similar way in the mentality he has. But imagine if it did get avoided and you didn't go and win a title, what we're going to do when we're over this chaos is going to go, well, you're not having that title because you didn't win it. You haven't won a title, Lawrence, for 45 years. Forget 2020.
Why are you adding the 45 on? What's another 15
because it could become that.
Okay, I mean, I like the sensationalist route you've gone down there, where you've added a decade to Liverpool not winning. I do like that.
Fans will just, you know what fans are going to do.
They'll add it
the
on,
great thing about getting banter back will be when this is all over, we will give banter about it, and that's the thing.
And banter's fine, but I guess a few people thought, oh, it's so salty, Liverpool won't win the title. If I'm completely honest with you, I'm not going to go into any personal details here, but like, I've got a lot of people. I've got a couple of people who are really close to me right now, really important to me, who are incredibly vulnerable to the virus. Yeah. And so to have people sort of say, well, you don't care about the virus, you just want Liverpool to win the title. I think it's really easy to reduce people around you into like tropes of football, where it's like, well, he's a Liverpool fan, of course he wants Liverpool to win the title. And I've probably made some really crude jokes in the past about Man City fans and whatever. I don't want to group all fans into one thing and say that fans are only represented by one view, and that if Manchester United choose this, then all the fans must agree. That's the whole point of a fan channel. That's the whole point of having a fan voice, is that you can disagree with your club, and you can definitely disagree with the Glazers. So it's okay to have this duality of opinion. It's okay to have a debate. It's just when it comes down to people going, well, this is actually about people dying. You want people to die so Liverpool can win the title. I'm like, I don't, but I do often think about people who might not see Liverpool win the title because of the virus spreading so quickly, and because it might take out some vulnerable people who are fans of Liverpool, fans of Manchester United, fans of Man City.
Also, I mean, look, I think at the moment it's such a tetchy time. I mean, the Prime Minister's got it, and you've got people saying, I hope he gets it really bad. And I just think, what?
Why?
Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Because you lost an election. Well, just like, what? That's just not. We're meant to, everyone applauding last night was fantastic, but I'm not going to change. I didn't change about Fellaini. I'm not going to change about coronavirus. And my stance is this: that I think that if you could get live darts or live snooker back on the telly tonight, it would have record viewing figures, because people are craving that sort of competitive normality. Football, Premier League. The Premier League is mercenary. It's about money. I'm not criticising it. It is. They know if they can get football back, they're going to make a lot of money. Whoever gets their league back, even if the Chinese league will probably be back soon, and then people will be watching it, and they started it. So
it does worry me, yeah.
But it's without question of a doubt, we're not going to have any football in April, and I accept that, and that is the right thing to do. But April is a long time. We're not even in April. It's 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks of this, and every day seems like a mountain. So in 5.5 weeks, let's look at it where we are. And if you can bring football back in May, whatever force it is, whether it's closed doors or not, after 5 weeks of this, the positive, I don't want to delve into this, but when I was in the police, I saw it all the time. Domestic abuse is going to go through the roof. Mental health is going to go through the roof, and it's going to get swept under the carpet, not because the government want to, but because they have to, because they haven't got the resources to deal with it. You think about a domestic abuse victim, they will normally get rehoused. That cannot happen at the moment. They don't have the resources to do it. So if you can start to bring normality back, you're going to start to stop the underlying issues that are going to be away from this virus. So I think not only do we love this sport, but this sport, it does a lot of good for a lot of people. And I for one just want to see it back as soon as safely as possible. And I'm not going to be one of these people who goes, void it, forget about it. This is the problem. But this football and sport and EastEnders or whatever has been suspended, James Bond film, these things.
Yeah, that was a real tragedy.
Positive. They're positive things. So.
Yeah. I guess, and I think I echo that. I also think, when it comes down to not making a decision too early, I'd much rather have football back and see everyone healthy than rush something back and it go wrong, or rush something back and there be another outbreak or something like that. I think that for me would be a real issue. And not only that, but I do want to see the James Bond film. Like, just release the James Bond film. Just put it out there. And, there's a Michael Jordan documentary coming. I'm excited for that. Disney has decided to do Disney Plus, and everyone's going a bit mental right now for that. I don't quite get the appeal of it, if I'm completely honest, because I've seen the Disney films. They're great films, but I've seen them.
We've got it because I've got kids and they haven't seen it. Yeah. But apart from The Mandalorian, I've seen all the Star Wars. I've seen all the Simpsons. Oh, look, I can go and look on something that I've already got somewhere else and watch it. So
yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I can still do the brand deal. I'm more than happy to endorse Disney Plus, but it's just I need it for free first to work out whether it's good or not. And at the same time, I think I find it so bizarre when people are having to go at people like Boris and saying, you know, I hope he gets it really bad, because as much as I think I've gone northeast viral over the last week from some comments I made about Boris.
It was very good. It was very good.
And you know, and it's a comedy show. And I think sometimes out of context, people sort of go, oh, well, it is called True News. And it's like, well, so was The Daily Show. You know, The Daily Show is a bit of, it's comedy. It's a bit of like relief. It's where we can just vent a little bit. And, you know, some people relate, some people won't. But I don't in any way want to see Boris get it badly. I don't want to see anyone get coronavirus badly. I want to see him better so that we can, you know, at least pretend we've got a leader for this country. Live sports needs to come back soon. I'm bored. Well, I mean, there are a lot of good Mark Goldbridge videos. Surely you can go back through the archives.
Oh, it's coming, Lawrence. Though I was going to ask you that actually. I want to talk about Sancho because there is that Liverpool connect as well.
Sure, I mean, he's definitely coming.
Yeah, a little bit of a life conversation though. How are you? One, dealing with it because people are very interested in this in relation to your day to day, and two, what about your? What about you and Brian, or you individually? What you're going to do? Because obviously you did have the kickoff, and now that's not there. So you've got your old sort of True News stuff. Or?
Yeah, the kickoff lives on. You know, we are working out some ways around it. It's not quite there yet. But you know, it's not as if the kickoff is dead. It's never going to come back. It is basically just guys watching football. So
isn't it?
That can always happen. We can always watch football. You know, even if I have to describe it to Brian when he's, you know, in his corona bed or whatever, there's still a way of doing that. I
can just confirm Brian hasn't got coronavirus, has he?
Not right now, anyway.
No.
Can I show you? Can I show you my new passion mark?
Yes, go.
This here is my new passion mark.
Ah, you see, I've got one in my conservatory, but it's just an ornament, and I was thinking about using it.
Oh, okay. I'm actually learning piano. It's a lovely feeling to be able to. They're not ivory keys, but to be able to tinkle the ivories, it is lovely. And I'm also, I've actually just left all my passions in this room. I'm also just filming a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It looks like I've set this up. I haven't. This was just sitting there because I was filming outside.
That's a big one, that is.
And the camera's sizable as well. And then I'm also cooking. And this is great as well, Mark. Look at this. Look, I also have this. I bought a projector. It's a projector. So I'm projecting old football games and old basketball games up on my wall at night and just kicking back, watch them here. You know, I've got my lady under my arm and, you know, just a nice drink there. That's great. What more could you want? I mean, I'm doing a little bit of work as well. I'm working on some other stuff. I've got a few ideas for True Geordie channel, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm also using it just to sort things out. Like, you know, go in your garage, have a sort out, get in your shed, make sure everything's out. You know, just use it to get everything. I'm so bored. I'm not bored, but I'm so into cleaning right now that I'm doing receipts. Brilliant. Put a podcast on, put Mark on, Nora in the background, and just sort through your receipts, you know, have a read. I read the Bible this week. People must know how bored I am, but I genuinely have read the Bible this week. So.
I do my FIFA career mode on That's Football, little plug. It'll be on tonight, Friday night, 6:30. But no, seriously, I played it last Saturday, and I played this game, which I'm normally not that good, but I have got better from playing more of it. And I played this game against Man City, and I was 2-0 down, and I won 2-0 down at half time. We won 5-2. And you know, when you're playing it live comments. I went to bed. We watched the film. The wife fell asleep. 11 o'clock.
What film did you get? What kind of film watching couple are you? Like, what kind of thing?
I tell you what, I tell a lie. It wasn't a film. You've caught me out straight away. You should be a police officer. The Stranger. I just finished it on Netflix. Ozark season 3's out tonight as well. Looking forward to that. Walking Dead. I'm culture vulture really. I'll watch anything really. I'll watch Made in Chelsea because the wife likes it, and then I'll go and watch Mindhunter. I've got
love Mindhunter. Mindhunter's great. You could be in Mindhunter. You'd be fantastic in Mindhunter.
Yeah, I think I would as well.
Yeah.
Bloody Pratt. No.
Yeah, that would be amazing. If you just burst in and just started doing that, and then the two American guys, I can't remember what their name is now, one of them, the bigger guy, Bill Tench.
That's one of them films that I remember this. I don't know the names of the people in it. I love the series, but I don't actually pick up on their names.
No, Bill is definitely Bill's the bigger guy, the one who's in Fight Club. Great guy, and of course directed by David Fincher, Mindhunter, which is David's one of my favorite directors, if not my favorite director.
This is another thing. There's so much. There's so much to talk about. Elliot Hackney, plugging it for £2. He didn't even need to pay the £2, Elliot. I would have just given a shout out. But
it is actually funny because I was genuinely going to give that shout out. So while Mark is doing it at 6, this is basically the Radio Times, but on the Radio Times, the magazine for younger people. So this is Mark. You're on at 6:30, right?
I will be on. The United Stand is on at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I realise that there might be a clash here. So, but it's fine. It's fine. What I can do is I can push them after the United Stand, which is only going to be half an hour tonight. I could push them afterwards. Yes.
Over to the quiz. There's a Lawrence McKenna special guest tonight with Elliot Hackney on Elliot Hackney's channel, 8, I think it is, and I'm doing a Kanye West quiz. Just saying.
You're viewing. People were interested. Now they're not.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, the quiz is still very entertaining, so it's worth it. Yeah, and Elliot's a great host. Really, really great guy.
Anyway, I'd finished watching this thing 11 o'clock last Saturday night. I thought, what do I put on? I could watch another episode of Mindhunter, or I could watch myself playing FIFA, which I did, and I've never felt like such a big head.
Yeah,
watching myself play FIFA. It was a great game to watch. Okay. It was a great game to watch. And
who was it?
It was Manchester United, Man City on my career mode.
Oh, okay. Right.
So I was watching myself play that back, and I just thought, this is a low.
Do you think it's a low, or do you think that is that very similar to when managers watch themselves on Match of the Day? Do you know what I mean? When they go back and they say, "Oh, that was good, wasn't it?"
Yeah. I don't know. I'm definitely doing things that I wouldn't normally do, but let's bring it back to football for a moment. Football related. Sancho, do you think he will go to Liverpool?
No, I think he's actually probably going to end up at Chelsea in the end. I'd love him at Liverpool. I think he'd be a great player, but I think we'll probably only get one of 2 players this summer. I think it's going to be a Jadon Sancho or a Timo Werner. And I mean, Timo Werner's a great player, and I think Liverpool might end up with Timo Werner, considering the connection, if you will, the German link, and also just the fact that Liverpool have done good business in the past. So I think it's good. Wow, I thought it said $500. I was like, wow, that is a lot of money.
He doesn't love you that much. It's 5 CA, which could be, I don't know. Canadian dollars. Yeah.
I guess it is.
It all matters at the moment. It all matters at the moment, and everyone who's becoming a member of the United Stand Members Club, that's absolutely fantastic as well.
You've got a few too many plugs in over the last few minutes. I feel like
I know. I have. We're not running out of conversation. Trent or Wan-Bissaka? You're going to say Trent.
I am going to say Trent right now. I do think that Trent will transition into midfield, and we should have Wan-Bissaka as a right back for England and Trent in the midfield. I get it. Wan-Bissaka is an incredible recovering tackler. I've spoken a lot with a couple of United fans about this. I don't think he's quite at the crossing level of Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I think they're probably at a similar level defensively. I do think that Wan-Bissaka recovers better though, and I doesn't mean I don't like watching him. I think he's a great player to watch. I love watching Wan-Bissaka, but I just think his football brain isn't quite coached to the level. And it isn't quite in sync with other players like Trent Scott. And Trent he's lucky enough to be part of a great team in the same way as a Phil Foden or Raheem Sterling is at Man City.
I think going back to film, if anyone's seen the film Fly or The Simpsons did a parody of it, if you could get that machine and send Trent Alexander-Arnold and Wan-Bissaka into it to merge into one footballer.
Okay, this is a great game.
Footballer.
This is a great game.
Let's do it with somebody else.
Sure. I mean, I would happily do. I'd happily do Mo Salah with a Ronaldo or a Neymar, because I like Mo Salah, but I want to see a little more flair. Do you know? I just want to see a little more arrogance almost about him, and I think fusing those two would be great. Or if you went Mbappe and maybe I don't know, who would you fuse Mbappe with? He's so complete. You could do Mbappe. That would be incredible.
Make him good in the air and stuff.
good in the
He's
air,
not bad in there, isn't he?
but quick. Incredible. Like, what a great fusion of players. I'd also fuse people from other sports. I'd go for like a Michael Jordan. I'd love to see what would happen if you fused Michael Jordan with, I don't know, Ian Wright. I'm just thinking of two bald black guys from the 90s. That's, you know.
I'd like to fuse Harry Maguire with Theo Walcott just for his pace. And then I think Harry Maguire would be very, very, very good.
It would be Theo Maguire.
I only want your pace, Walcott. What about my great finishing skills? Forget it. I just want your pace.
But sure. I mean, Maguire would be a great player, but surely you want Harry Maguire to have the finishing, and then you just play him up front. He'd be Lewandowski if you mix him with Theo Walcott, and then you wouldn't have him as a defender.
I'm a man of simple tastes, and all I want is Harry Maguire to have speed, Lawrence. That's all I want.
I don't think
you can do
this
as well. What would you add to Jordan Henderson, who apparently was going to win Player of the Year unjustly?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that he deserved to win it, but I think it's very much. I mean, maybe if he wins Player of the Year now, that might be all that Liverpool get this year.
That's just farce. That's such a farce, you know, because I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I wouldn't even have him in my top 3 of the season. I just think in this country, we're terrible at what we're not terrible with Messi. It's always Messi and Ronaldo for the Ballon d'Or because they're the best 2 players. Oh, Van Dijk won it last year. You can't win it again, even though you are the best again. It's got to be somebody else. We've got to give him a chance. Let's give it to Jordan. No, he's not the best in the team.
The thing is, I don't actually think that either Van Dijk or Henderson deserve it this year, because I actually think Van Dijk's fallen off towards the end of before we froze things. So I don't think that either of them really deserve it this year, if I'm completely honest. I think I might even go for a goalkeeper, or possibly Trent, or possibly maybe even someone like Mane or Salah or someone like that. Just because I can't think of anyone else ahead of them. If I'm completely, it really feeds into the idea that the Premier League isn't so fantastic, but I do think we are lacking some flair individuals, whereas teams are now better.
Yeah, Ian O'Neill.
I would give Henderson, what quality would I give him? I'd probably give him a little more flair as well. I just want to see a little more flair. That's Alisson is also a great player.
Henderson walk into the machine with James Ward-Prowse.
It would have, you're almost thinking of someone like that. Possibly, I mean, Henderson's too similar to Lallana already for me. But I'd go for, who's a good flair midfielder? I'm trying to think of a Brazilian midfielder, someone like that, someone who's maybe a Riquelme.
Uruguayan, wasn't he? Argentinian.
Argentinian. I mean, yeah, he's South American.
Yeah. Or just for a laugh, we could send Phil Jones and Lovren in and see what comes out. Would they be better or worse?
Does Phil Jones have high self-confidence?
No, not anymore. He used to, and then someone spoke about pink boots, and apparently it's just left him distraught.
I remember when Manchester United signed Phil Jones, and we went, we've really missed a good signing there. We've really missed someone. And I remember thinking, what Rafa Benitez could have done with Phil Jones. At the time, I mean, they had the 8-2 game on yesterday, and he played at the back, and he's a lot better then than he is now, to be fair. Oh yeah, I think he's lost a lot of confidence, and coaching wise, you need someone to always be pushing you when you're at the very top. And I don't really think that he's ever had someone who's gone, should we focus on Phil for a little while and just sort of, should we train him? You know, he's never had the focus that he needs from a manager consistently. Whereas I think other people, Liverpool now, benefiting from consistency.
Yeah, 100%. I must ask you this: the talk about how good this Liverpool side was. You're quite intelligent.
I tried.
This is an irritant of mine. The Liverpool. It's not just Liverpool. It happened with Man City a couple of years ago, where Gary Lineker is one of the big ones. Starts talking about, this is definitely the best team there's ever been, and then it doesn't even achieve what the best team did. So
I get that. I get that aspect of it. I don't. For me, I think achievements always have to be taken into account, but there are also some great players who haven't achieved as much as they could have. You know, Steven Gerrard is the one that jumps to mind, and you don't always want to be that. You know, especially Liverpool fan, you don't want to be mentioning basically a club legend. Especially, I think it's hard for Gerrard because every other Liverpool club legend has got those titles. You know, Kenny Dalglish, Kip Keegan, and you can go back and back and back. And even Phil Neal, you know, great guys have become maybe figures of fun in public eyes, are always heroes for Liverpool because of what they won. And I guess for me, I agree. I don't think they are that all-beating team of '99. And I said to Hugh Izzy myself, I don't know if I'm happy almost that Arsenal kept that title of Invincibles, because I still think Liverpool have got a bit further to go. I don't quite think this is the zenith of this top team.
It's irrelevant anyway.
It's irrelevant anyway. But the point is, I actually think just to be in that conversation of being in the top 3 teams of all time, I don't think they are the best team of all time. But I definitely think they're in the top 5 Premier League teams ever, maybe at a push top 10. But they're not number 1. There are better teams or more impressive teams, I think, than Liverpool. And you know what? The thing that annoys me is you've got to go not from the titles or from statistically they had the most possession. Yeah, we get it, Pep. Like, you've got to go from the sight test. And for me, the sight test is still there with Manchester United. When you watch the footage back of that 1919, you watch it and instinctively, even if you don't really know football, not to the level, that a coach or a manager would. And I'm saying this is me. I don't know football to the level of someone like that. You watch it and you go, there is something great about that team. And it's something that's good to watch, I'd imagine, as a Manchester United fan, because it's even good to watch as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah. That feeds nicely into what I was going to ask you next. We tend to ask people who are not United fans this question. Right. Solskjaer.
Yeah.
Where now? I mean, I think things have changed, but where are you now slightly concerned that United can be a threat under Ollie, or would you be more concerned if they got rid of him and maybe did bring a different manager in?
Right. Okay. I thought you were retrospectively asking me where I see him as a player, and I was going to say I think we have a bit of a Solskjaer figure in Divock Origi, but I do think I know people are going to say that's massive disrespect, but Origi scored some cult goals, is what I mean.
It was going so well. Goodbye, Lawrence. Bye.
He scored cult goals, is what I mean. Cult. I personally think, and I think we've always said this from the start, great for the interim. And that doesn't mean he can't achieve something. But there are going to be better options on the market. And a few years ago, Liverpool had this with Brendan Rodgers, where it was like, he's a great manager, lovely guy. We love having him around the club. He's got a really nice feeling. He's a top guy. But then Jurgen Klopp came on the market. And if we hadn't have taken that opportunity, you've got to keep asking yourself, what if? And I know we're talking about football as a business. There is a great amount of room for sentimentality at Manchester United and at Liverpool. But that sentimentality does not emanate from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It actually emanates from the club itself. And the problem for you guys is at the moment, and I think Liverpool had this in the 90s and the early 2000s, you put a lot of stock in individuals and managers, like we did with Roy Evans, like we did with Fowler, McManaman, McAteer. I can keep going, Dimitar, all these guys, because they felt like ours. They felt young, and they felt like we owned that. And it was because we weren't owning much else at the time. But when Houllier came along, when Benitez came along, it put all those things into perspective for us. And I know that neither of them won the league. When Klopp came along, it put everyone in perspective before that. And that was what the argument I'd make for Manchester United fans right now is, you lost Sir Alex, you were reeling, and you'll go to whatever feels good. But now you're far enough out that you can go, all right, Poch is free, or, if Simeone came free, someone big like that. Don't, as a club, pass that up because you want to look a certain way, because you want to be sentimental. And don't see it as loyalty, because loyalty goes both ways. And I'm sure that if Solskjaer really loves Manchester United, he will look at that objectively and say, okay, maybe I've taken the club as far as I can. Doesn't mean he can't win anything, like an FA Cup or anything, or make them a great team, or beat really good teams. But I think that you've got to at some point go, Poch is on the market here, or someone like that, and go with them.
I don't think we will. I think that's the thing. I mean, look, I always said give Ollie till the end of the season. We don't know when that's going to be now, but there was a decision that you're talking about there to be made in the traditional May, if we'd not had this virus thing, where we would have known Poch was available and we had a choice to make. Unfortunately,
how much do you think it benefits you now, this break, that Ollie? Essentially what this is a great amount of distance for managers and players to be able to step back. And I worry about Liverpool in a way almost psyching themselves out of it and going, God, do we deserve it? Oh, no, people are saying it. I don't know if they're those kind of, mentality. I don't know why, if they're actually that way. But maybe it's great for Solskjaer. He can step away and go, he's not going to the training ground every day. He's not in the mix of things every day. He's not having to go please people and do this and do that. He just step away and almost feel a sense of distance from it that you need sometimes. It's almost like gardening leave or something like that. You can go, oh yeah, that's what I need to do. Maybe this is good for you guys.
Well, it's a year to the day tomorrow that he was appointed the full-time manager. I'm going to do a show tonight. Tonight's short show before the pub quiz is going to be a year of Ollie. We'll interact on that. But I think this was bad because I think the momentum we had, we were going to go and get top 4. And I think if he'd got top 4, he would have stayed in the job. Yeah. I don't know what I would have thought, though, because I just think you're almost in that damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because if you... Poch is there. If you take it, you get it. If you stick with Ollie, I'm not convinced Ollie is the man to take us where we need to be. And I think you've hit the nail on the head with the whole point of we will stick with something because it feels right to stick with it, and let's give him a chance. But Man City don't give people a chance. Chelsea don't give people a chance. And other than Manchester United, they're the 2 biggest winners of titles in the last 20 years. So yeah. The thing is set, and also Liverpool did it as well with Brandon Rodgers, shouldn't they? They could have stayed with him, and they were like, no, there's an opportunity to go and get Klopp. Let's go and do it.
And I also think people don't. We're not in the offices on a day-to-day basis. We don't see how people are broken up with or let go. And I think the automatic assumption when you don't see it is that it's not a very emotional decision, or that it's not it's not done with care and towards someone. And I think there are enough people like Phelan and et cetera at United that you're not going to lose that sense of players like Ollie, of the greats. But you do. He as a manager probably has to look at it and go, yeah, there's an objective decision to be made as well here. Even if there's a chance that I could, am I going to be good enough? Am I going to have those skills within the next few years? Could I also go away and return? Because it's not like he's returning to something that he feels is complete. Is it opening the door to 10, 15 years down the line, when he's been back to France or wherever, and he's gone to Norway, and that he comes back and goes, I've evolved as a manager. I got you to a certain point. What now?
I had to put that one up because I just think it's the biggest waste of 6 words I've ever seen in my life, but fair play for typing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Liverpool should not win the title is actually the biggest waste of 6 words, but that is the second biggest waste of 6 words.
There's no United fan that's going to argue with that one, Giants Nation. But
no,
I'd argue with your American football team, but that's about it.
I can't argue because I'm actually a New York Giants fan. But that's my own fault.
You like your NFL, don't you?
I love my NFL. I love my NBA. I love all these things, and that's partly why I'm really enjoying the lockdown right now. Because every night that projector projects an old school game onto that wall, and I sit there with a notepad and just sort of make some notes and enjoy myself. It's great.
I had a dream. I keep having weird dreams, and I think that's normal. And I think we need to acknowledge that. But I also
actually what Martin Luther King wrote down in his first version of the speech.
What?
Yeah, I've had a dream, and we all have weird dreams. And
see, Loris is even too quick for me at times, and I'm sorry. Normally, I'm okay, but he's even more deadpan than I can be at times. Sorry, but I had this dream that imagine if a way to get through this would be great if you'd been in a coma for the last 3 years. Oh, God, no one told you the Premier League results, and then you could just get them all back and watch them back. It'd be great.
Yeah. And do you know what? I don't know whether you have this, Mark. Like, weirdly, I was watching like an old Liverpool game the other day, like a really old one. Like, I think it was the highlights from an 80s final. And I thought, I was sitting there and I was like, yes, when we scored, I was like, I wasn't alive. I don't know. I don't know any of the players. Maybe I know some of the 80s players, but I don't know. I don't relate to them in the same way because I've not watched them through a whole season. It's not like watching Gerrard grow up as a young fan. But for some weird reason, when they're wearing that colour, I still go, oh, that's my guys. Yeah, they're winning. This is great. It's kind of strange. There's a weird feeling to it because I don't quite understand it. I'm like, well, I don't have any reason to celebrate that. I didn't take part in it. I wasn't part of that. Maybe it's because it's part of my history, part of my family history, part of my city history. It's a weird feeling when you watch back. And I'm starting to get that feeling now when I'm watching old games for the Giants or old games for the San Antonio Spurs. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I wasn't even a fan then. Like, what difference does it make to me? But it's a cute feeling.
It's a bit like I'd always planned to watch Game of Thrones from season 1 all the way through, and that was always going to be my thing. And like through all the seasons, my mates would go, "Oh, I'm watching back season 3," and I'll go, "No, the clever thing to do is wait till it's finished and then watch it all the way through."
My dad did.
And they'll always say to me, "Have you done it?" No, because the last season's so shit, I refuse to do it. So
essentially, it ruined it for you. You thought it was going to build to the ultimate crescendo, but it's almost like doing, a Hans Zimmer song, but then it just stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a box set you go back to now that you are in lockdown, essentially? Even though you're in a box at Old Trafford.
The only things that I really ever go back to consistently is The Office.
Love it. Yeah.
Alan Partridge, Only Fools and Horses.
Do you like Mid-Morning Matters? Have you ever seen Mid-Morning Matters?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. And I love The Trip as well. I love
The Trip is fantastic. Yeah, The Trip's great. Mainly because I think what it did was it also perfectly echoed a lot of what happens when I go on holiday with my dad, where we sit and have, similar conversations. And it sort of gave us a good basis to build.
And do Ronnie Corbett impressions.
And the funny thing is, my dad actually does do a Ronnie Corbett impression. So when they started doing that, I did look at him. I was a bit like, isn't this just our holidays, basically? So it's quite sweet in that sense. But they're also all reassuring TV to watch. None of them are, like watching. A lot of people are watching Contagion or Pandemic right now, whatever the hell that film is. That's not reassuring in any way.
I think you've got to watch something that, like you say, is familiar and makes you feel good. But for some people, that is watching Contagion or hardcore horror. That is a genre.
Do you ever watch horror stuff? Are you a horror guy or?
No. I think Scream is my limit. Because it's a bit funny and there's death.
Yeah. I mean, that is quite literally that. Yeah.
I don't really like. What about yourself? I'm not into horror. No, not really.
No, not so much into horror. What I have gotten into is because I also know they won't put the gorier stuff on YouTube. I've gotten into watching movie clips, so I just get sort of a gist of what happens in the film. And every now and again, you'll see something gory, and you'll go, pause, don't like. And it's like, and the problem is now it started suggesting those in all of my feeds. So you're a horror film fan. You've not got me right there, but you're suggesting all this stuff now. So now what I've gotten into is not watching the film itself, but an explainer of the film, and then an explainer of the morality behind the film. And I find that so much more rewarding for me. I watched an explainer of a weird film the other day. Have you ever seen the film Tusk? I'd imagine you haven't.
No.
Okay, it's a bit of a strange one. So, and I know maybe it shocked me a little bit, but I always worry that on True News we're gonna pick on someone who is not either not. I don't know how to put this, but not. We don't punch up. We should always punch up. That should be the rule on True News, right? And in comedy in general. And so I always worry that one day we'll pick someone and we'll actually be punching down and we'll look mean. And that's always a fear for most comedians. Yeah, because it shows that you've not got the awareness, and we've probably done that at some point. I feel terrible if that was the case. I don't want that to be the case. In Tusk, it's about a radio show that they make where they make fun of people online, but they purely pick people who are losers, basically. So weirdos. And then one day, this guy basically kills himself after they make fun of him. And the guys go to this town, becomes a little bit creepy at this point, and they can't find the guy, and they can't find any of his family to apologize or any of this sort of stuff. And so they find an advert for an old, spoilers by the way, for an old man's house. And they go to this old man's house, and he gives them some poison tea, and it basically puts them into a coma. And the man, this sounds a bit weird, turns one of them into a walrus, sort of surgically into a walrus, sort of cuts his arms off and his legs, and it's horrible. It is horrible to watch. It's really gory. Cuts his tongue out, I think. But the film weirdly ends with this guy just living as a walrus. So
in a cage,
in a zoo. And the worst bit was he had a girlfriend before who said she didn't really love him and he didn't really love her. The girlfriend visits him in the zoo and then just throws him a fish. And I was a bit like, okay, well, I guess it's a bit of
Has
a
he got a coat
ending.
on then to be like a walrus? Oh, a walrus is I'm thinking of a mammoth.
No. He's huge like a walrus. Yeah. But he's not a walrus ultimately. It's a weird one, but it
people,
worried me. So I was like, people ultimately get their comeuppance. I guess
there are some dodgy films out there. Like people have, and this worries me about the human psyche. Let's just stick to fan channels and not films about things that are just.
Well, yeah,
disgusting.
I mean, we'd all love to see at least one fan channel go through the human centipede, and I think we all know who we want it to happen to. But I
think there's one that could be a walrus as well.
Okay, I mean, that's mean to Brian, but ultimately, it's a joke. I've made a lot of weight jokes about Brian. That's ultimately a joke.
And shifted it away from the real person quite well. Yeah.
I don't know who. Yeah. So ultimately, I think there is a thirst for horror in fan channels, but maybe not yet. Horror fan channel TV might be the next one, or the horror fan stand.
It's funny because I do play some computer games, and somebody sent me is Outlast or something, which is apparently quite a horrific horror game.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we'd love to see you watching playing it." I said, "What you would see is me see something I don't like, put the controller down, and turn it off. That's it. I'm not going to persist with something I don't like."
To be fair, though, Mark, you've got such a big platform that would be a really great advertisement. If you could get that done, that'd be great. I'll take 50%.
Yeah, let's work on it. But I'm not talking about Robbie either. Everybody, I like Robbie. Lawrence. I don't know what's going on there. I mean,
you know what? Robbie and I, we haven't spoken since obviously everything happened. But I like to think that we squashed it in a way. And I think sometimes people can get very whipped up online, or sort of, this as well in our community. Sometimes things can get past secondhand, or things people can whip people up behind the scenes. And I don't know. I just like to think that as two older guys, we're just above that sort of now. He seems like a lovely guy. I love watching him cook and stuff on Arsenal Fan TV. When he made the beef, whatever he made, I don't remember the exact dish, but it was a good watch. And I like watching Robbie chop onions, because ultimately I love to see him cry.
He'll chop onions if people are going to watch Robbie.
Yeah, and ultimately I think that's always been what I've said about Robbie.
Yeah, he's very good at what he does.
Chop onion. You had a good comment there about Julian Nagelsmann. I get the feeling that United would love a manager like that, but I don't know if right now, considering the top, and actually this is not a comment on your fan, but a comment on the structure of the club, whether any self-respecting manager would go, yeah, I want to step into that and take that risk.
We're not set up for that sort of manager to come in and go, I'm young, but I'm very good. I'm going to rebuild this club. Ed Woodward's got too much of a control of the club. They're not going to do that. They'll do half a way that, but they won't do a full way.
If you remove all of the D's from his name's Iwawuwa. It's just. I imagine that really annoys him.
And on that bombshell, I think I've covered everything, Lawrence.
Have you?
We've done an hour. I've really enjoyed it.
We've done an hour. It has been an hour, but I didn't realize. Domino's gave me a notification. We're hiring across the UK. See, these
takeaways being, everyone wants to think everything to shut down, but I'm quite happy with it all to continue, because in a safe way. I must always say that. I've got a little piece of paper. Always say in a safe way, because otherwise, you get criticized.
Safeway's shut now, though. I think they were bought by Sainsbury's or someone. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember Safeway. I never liked it. More of a Waitrose person, aren't we, Lawrence?
Exactly. Yeah, no, genuinely. And there's a Marks and Spencer on my high street, and it is it's always really well stocked. So it is lovely. Did you stockpile at all, or were you sort of less of a stockpiler?
No, not really.
Man, I guess you've always got to have a lot of food in.
But no, I didn't know. A few tins of beans and stuff, but yeah. Hopefully,
the weird thing for me was obviously I would tend to buy day to day, because I sort of go out and buy something and then come back. I like the walk, I like my area, blah blah blah. You being a family guy, that kids just get through their food so quick, and so you can't not buy a lot of food anyway. No,
and I like my food as well, as you've seen when you're having a 6-inch Subway. No, 12 standard.
He's good with that,
and it's free. If it's free, get me 2.
And to be fair, that is
Brian will finish it if not.
That's a 24-inch. Yeah, and he does. And that's sort of the weird thing about it. He goes, "I love Mark's sandwiches," and he looks me dead in the eye as he eats the whole thing. It's weird. I've also gotten into making smoothies, if anyone's interested. and I can
Oh, I'm big
recommend
into smoothies.
pea milk.
All right.
PEA is well worth looking up. I put spinach, I put pea milk, I put banana, I put raspberries, I put some maple syrup. Mark, try it. It's amazing.
Smoothies are great.
I know some people will be a bit disappointed because they came here for a Boris rant, but that's genuinely what you should take away from this.
Banana, spinach, water, lime.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
Lime.
Lovely. Yeah. Squeeze a lime.
Okay, I like that. Not a lemon man. You're more of a lime guy.
I'm easy. I'm in the whole lemon, lime, oranges and lemons. Forget about it. I hate that song, but lemon and limes, I like it.
Yeah. Okay. I understand where you're coming from there. I just think, in general, I'm kind of interested in what people eat. That's why I kind of want to see what footballers are eating while they're on the downtime. So I want to understand more of what they're doing, how they're keeping their fitness up. I'm just buying a lot of spinach and a lot of kale, and that's what I think is healthy. I'm just eating a lot of spinach and kale and lean steak, and as you can see, it's having a great effect.
We're all the great thing about this is everyone you have on, everyone's adopted the same thing. I'm not going to shave. I'm going to wear tracksuits and stuff. And
yeah, I mean, this is very forgiving. You know, I mean, this is huge on me. So.
What are you going to do with your hair?
I mean, I think you can already see what I've done with my hair, Mark.
You're not going to shave it off.
I'm not going to shave. I mean, maybe I would. I'm not a great shaven head guy. You are the kind of person, hence, you know, why you're in the police force before, where you look great with a, you know, you look great with a little, take a little bit off the sides. Very good.
I don't think I do on the top. This is what's worrying me. I don't. This is the optimum length, and I'm half thinking, do I get the wife to just start trying to keep it like that? Because if it goes long, I'm in trouble.
I cut my own hair, and you're finding out so much about it. I cut my own hair for 7 years.
All right.
Yeah, I can recommend it. It's so satisfying when you get it right. When you get it wrong, it's terrible. But when you get it right, brilliant. So
there must be some YouTube videos about this.
I mean, people could never tell. I'm just looking at your hair. It is. I mean, you're great with a comb. Do you know what I mean?
That's razored in. That's why it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, surely you can just get your barber to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Is that a little cross on have you got a little cross on your wrist as well?
Yeah.
It's been hanging around for the whole thing. It caught my eye every now and again.
Basically, I had a bit of a rash on my neck. It's a boring thing, and it was chafing. So I just wrapped it around there because I like to have it on, and now I quite like it there. So it's absolutely crap when you see it in real life. But there you go.
It makes you look a bit bohemian, if I'm honest. And
I need that.
Yeah, you are such a bohemian.
I do. I need it. Anything to appeal to anything. That's me, really.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. Thanks for having me, though.
No, I've really enjoyed it.
Don't forget. Yeah, I know it wandered quite a lot, but don't forget tonight Elliot's quiz. I think it's 8. I think it is 8. Yeah.
I'll push people after my show because they'll all be watching me at 8, of course. But they won't.
People will be so good. I mean, surely though at 8, right? The main problem. Are we not all going outside and clapping again?
I don't know. Do we do it every night?
I thought we did it every night. I don't know why we're not doing it every night, and I don't understand why. I watched BBC News last night. I don't watch it every night, but I watched BBC News last night.
I bet you watch. Do you watch Newsnight?
I do watch Newsnight. Yeah, I watch Newsnight. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I do enjoy Question Time, and you know.
Yeah.
So
I bet we're one of the only. I can't imagine Brian, Robbie, Flex, DT. They won't be watching Newsnight and Question Time. You see,
not unless
diversification of fan channels.
Yeah, I mean, you're sure middle-class white guys, diverse. I do think from now on, by the way, I'm going to message you about Question Time and about Newsnight, just because now I know you watch it.
I look forward to it at the moment. I've not missed the Newsnight for about a year because we had all the elections, then we had Brexit, and now we've got this. It's great.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's a great show to watch for the news.
It is a good reset. I'll put it that way. And I also think, I mean, that on BBC News last night, right? They were saying, God, we've got this great idea. We should all go out and clap. And I was like, haven't Spain and Italy and France been doing it for ages? Yeah. Andrew Ellis just says thanks. What for?
He's got a nice picture of Ashley Young with him.
Oh, he does actually. Yeah. Ashley Young always looks really nervous in fan photos. I don't know why.
He's very small, that's why. He might get trod on.
Brother. Have you ever seen Daniel James in real life?
No.
He's miniature. So I went to Wembley to watch NFL. Daniel James came along. Lovely kid, right? But tiny. Like, So small. I couldn't believe how small he was. He doesn't look that small when he's on the pitch, but he looked feeble, if I'm honest.
You've not met Ashley Young. He's
sure, no, I
tiny,
haven't,
and he's very skinny as well, Ashley Young. He's like, how have you become a footballer? You think like you could kick him and the ball, but he's forged a good career.
There he is living in Milan. He did do a little tweet thread the other day that I really
Giants
enjoyed.
Nation, it's obviously the personality.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just very to the point.
I do
He's
love
better than Ollie Fax. Ashley Young is into Milan. I'm waiting for the hat trick.
It's all about 6 words. I think he's a 6-word man. That's the problem. It'll be something about Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I've got to admit, I think you guys missed out by not going for Conte. If I was United, I would have thrown all the money at Conte and just been like, just get us up there. And Conte would have turned that team around in a second. Great manager. He did what he needed to at Juve and is doing what he needed to at Inter as well. Fantastic manager. Career mode later. Yeah.
There is at 6:30 tonight, but I wasn't plugging there. I was actually, Andrew Ellis has come back. No, I've missed it again. Andrew, sorry. He says he's my dad's godson when he was a child, and I'm trying to figure that out.
So he is still his godson technically, although maybe his dad's not around anymore. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But technically that is a family link.
Yeah.
Do you have any godchildren?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'd love to have.
I was thinking, when I went yes, I was like, yes, you do. So, I do.
The thing is, right? You've got to pick a godfather really carefully, right? And I mean, like, really carefully here. This is all over the place, and it's awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm really sorry. You've got to pick your godfathers really carefully, and you, Mark, would be a fantastic godfather. Do you know why? Consistent, right? Semi-famous, so the kids will always get a little bit excited when you're coming over. The kids will always, is Mark coming over? Oh, Mark's coming over. Brilliant. Oh, we can ask him about are you still famous, Mark? Yeah, I'm still famous. And then you look like a great present buyer.
Yeah, I am.
There you go.
That's
exactly what I want from a godfather. Good presence, consistent, drives well because I might need him to take my kids somewhere sometime. And the kids will love spending time with you because I guarantee you are sarcastic around kids and kids love sarcastic adults.
I wind kids up badly all the time. So yeah. I'm a kid. That's it. I'm a big kid myself. And that's why I buy them presents that are good because I buy them what I would like to play with.
Correct. Yeah. Pokemon Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see you're not a big Pokemon guy, but
no.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Do your kids? Do you think your kids value your fame, or your relative fame, or do you think they're a bit like, oh, it's just dad?
No. That's the only thing I would pick up on. I don't think that I think the youth of today are not very respectful of
fame,
really, which is probably a good thing. I'm certainly not. So I think I was when I was younger. I did used to have like football players on my wall and Kylie and all that lot. I'd still have Kylie on the wall, but not
still Kylie. I was never really attracted to Kylie Minogue. I didn't really see her as a sex symbol. I thought she was a great singer, though.
Yeah,
hell of a voice.
She's like a fine wine. Open her up.
I've not seen her recently.
I've gone too far.
Yeah, I've not seen her recently, but fair play to you. And then the final thing that I'm just really enjoying right now is I've got a great view from the flat.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the view before you go? I realize it's quite ranging. I've also got a lamp. I love lamps. Let me just
showing your wealth.
Absolutely, mate. This is my wealth. That's my Radox out here on my balcony. Oh, there's someone down there. Get inside, mate. Wait for it. Boom. Look at that.
That is a good view.
That is a great view. Look at that.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
What's that then? Is that Bristol or?
Yeah, that's Burton-on-Trent, mate.
It's London. Actually, people won't know. It's London, isn't it?
Yeah, it is London. Yeah.
Bloody London.
What a place. And so at night, all I'll do is, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I always just tweet the sunset or, Instagram the sunset because I know I've got this place specifically for the sunset. It's a really great sunset.
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
My dreams. Yeah, and ultimately now we're realizing it's also a concrete jungle where corona spreads very quickly. So, that she doesn't sing about that. And that's ultimately what she had because, she's got a lot of power and she should have helped spread the word, but she hasn't. Alicia Keys.
We'll kill it.
Yeah,
and you, the virus.
Sure.
But thanks a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying do it again. I mean, it's always about whether Loz has got the time to do it.
Absolutely. Mark and I had gone down this route a couple of days ago, and I'm really sorry it didn't happen a few days ago. But now
it wouldn't have been live if we'd done it yesterday. It wasn't going to be live. So
good point.
I think it's worked better live.
Oh, definitely. And I'm happy to do it live. And this was really good. Your technology is fantastic, Mark. Well done.
Thank you. And from Lawrence, that means a lot because he's very geeky about technology and stuff like that.
I am actually very geeky. Yeah. You can do anyway. Like I say, I'm more than happy to come back. I saw you yesterday with James Alcott. I thought it was a fantastic stream. Really, I liked how much you got into it.
I got into that, and I was like, so when we went 1-0, I did a thing on James Alcott. He does a QPR Football Manager career, and he's very, very clever. What he's done, he gets a different person on. You do about 4 games, and you're assistant manager. I did 4 games, and we drew 2 and we won 2, and I did properly on the last game. We went 1-0 down. I was like,
I saw that.
We turned it around. So
I'm
thinking of doing one myself.
Average is good. It's good. You'd be great at that. The 2-point average is good. I'd love. And the thing is, right? I've managed Manchester United on Football Manager before. I'd love another opportunity.
Yeah.
So if you were to do that, or you were to even go lower league, my only thing was when I managed Manchester United, first player out the door, Wayne Rooney. So that's all that mattered.
Might do Derby with you then.
I'm more than happy to do that. I mean, if he's sort of a player manager anyway, I might sort of
Well, thank you.
Anyone undermining us. Yeah.
We're back at 8 o'clock, everybody, on this channel, and I will give the shout out for the pub quiz anyway. But there is a pub quiz on Elliot Hackney's channel at 8 o'clock tonight. But
great guy.
Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you at 8. Smash a like on the video, keep watching, and we'll get Loz back on soon. Thanks. See you later.
Bye bye.